So welcome in everyone, and pleasure that you're able to attend our webinar today, the Colorado Fruit and Vegetable Growers Association Lunch and Learn webinar, the Automated Weeder Series, Multipurpose Platforms featuring Barn Owl Precision Ag and Naio Technologies. I'm Adrian Card, State Specialist with Colorado State University in Produce and founding board member of the Colorado Fruit and Vegetable Growers Association, and I'll host you today. CFVGA is the go-to resource for Colorado's fresh fruit and vegetable farmers. We connect Colorado growers with industry, government, academia, and consumers to strengthen and expand Colorado fresh fruit and vegetable production. Learn more at CFVGA's website and social media channels on screen now. CFVGA is made possible by a host of generous sponsors, and want to feature those today for you on behalf of the board. Here are the platinum sponsors, gold sponsors, and silver sponsors. And please explore more about these vendors on the CFVGA website. On the growers page, you can find their products and services and encourage you to support them. We'll do questions at the end of today's presentation. You'll see a Q&A box. Many of us are extremely familiar with Zoom at this point in the post-COVID world, but go ahead and enter your questions at any point. We'll address those at the end of the presentation, and you'll be able to see everyone's questions and upvote them too if you'd like to. And without further ado, our presenters today are Sarah Hinkley. She's the CEO of Barn Owl Precision Ag, and Gaetan Severac, the co-founder of Naio Technologies. Sarah was born in Colorado Springs and grew up in Dallas, Texas. As a kid, she would spend summers with her grandparents, which is where she learned about farming and ranching. She holds a bachelor's in business management from Texas State University and a master's in healthcare administration from Colorado State University. She's been in many different leadership roles in the food industry, from director of human resources to kitchen manager. A family history, love of farming, and a need to secure our food system have brought Sarah back to her roots. Gaetan is co-founder of Naio Technologies. He is a leader in ag robotics since 2011. He is the president of GOFAR, which is the Global Organization for Ag Robotics, which improves the visibility and networking of the ag robotics sector globally, and features an annual international forum on ag robotics known as FIRA. And of note, there is a second USA FIRA set September the 19th through the 21st of this year in Salinas, California. And if you go, I'll see you there. Without further ado, I want to pass over to Sarah for her presentation.
Thanks, Adrian. All right, let's see. That'll come up for us. Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Sarah Hinkley. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Barn Owl Precision Ag. We have a family history of my grandparents lived in La Junta, Colorado, and my aunts and uncles were born there. We have we are a multi-purpose solution. We got started originally in 2017 as a drone service provider. We were going around the state kind of trying to figure out how we could use our experience in drone analysis to accomplish goals for growers. We got a lot of great feedback. We work with a lot of growers to help us try to find the best solution to combine both the drone analysis with what we need most now is help with labor and help accomplishing tasks. And so that's why we're here today. And if I can get my slide to change, there we go. We do small farm robots. So this unit is a fully autonomous small farm robot. It is intended to be. Yes.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. We may want to turn off your video since your Wi-Fi is kind of slow. The slide has yet to advance on our side.
Okay. Yeah. Pardon me.
Sorry about that.
Any better now? Are you seeing the second slide?
I don't see the second slide yet.
If you can hear me okay, we can just continue. And this is a great opportunity to say everybody to come to the June 16th demo so that you can see the units operating and how they work. So I'll just keep going and yeah, we'll get through it. So yeah, we do small farm robots. They're about 2 foot by 2 foot. They can each tow 400 pounds, so we can do a number of different applications. We do mechanical weeding as our main form of weed control, but we also use the drone technology and the precision sensors on the robot to do very precise weed control, planting, and spraying as well. Our basic goal and our hope is that we can support small growers of any size from 1 acre to 10,000 acres. By doing this as a fleet and bringing as many as the grower needs to the farm or as few as the grower needs to the farm. A couple of other things, we have a number of different implements that we can use. So this is operating in 30-inch rows. You probably can't see it, but we're also towing behind this robot. That's 100 pounds in that one. And the main goal is that the grower
picks... We see your current slide. We got
great. The main goal is that the grower picks the tool based on their farm goals, because every farm goal is a little bit different. So cover crops, full clean, weed control, and the best aspect about what we do is that the burden is on Barn Owl. It's not on the grower. So the main thing for the grower to consider is to give me a call and say, this is what we want to do. And then we go out and figure out the best way to accomplish your goals for the whole season. I had some videos as well, but we're not going to even try that. So we have a number of different implements. They are manufactured in La Junta. And so we do that locally so that we can keep everything tuned to regional needs. As we continue to grow, we will create these regional hubs in other areas, northern Colorado, San Luis Valley, which is where I am currently. The one on the right, if you can see that, that's our precision finger weeder. And then on the left, we have our cultivating tools. These will all be up. These are actually old photos. So we'll have all of the new equipment at the June 16th demo.
These are advancing really well now. We're seeing what you see.
Okay, great. We can try this video. This is a video of us planting in Rocky Ford, Colorado. And so this kind of just shows you the unit, the number of different approaches that we create in order to make it successful. Like I mentioned, the unit is fully autonomous. So we press a button and it goes and does a task. That's a cedar. We are in that plot. We planted 5 different crops, and then we will be fully weed control for that plot. We will actually also spray to include chemicals and water as well. We're going to try some precision watering this season. And it just goes. That's kind of the best. There's virtually no soil compaction since it is lightweight. And then we can remove wheels, and it's adjustable so we can fit in any row size that's 30 inches or larger. This is going to be our harvesting support. So another application that we are going to work on this season is to be able to have our hand harvest labor that we currently have, be able to pick specialty crops without having to have the physical burden of it being on the farm support team. So as I mentioned, each unit can tow 400 pounds, and as a swarm or as a fleet, when we go to the farm, we will be able to tow the labor that does exist, so that we aren't necessarily removing a full amount of labor from the field, but supplementing it so that the humans can do things that are still very much needed on the farm. We start for our weeding cost at $38.50 per acre per visit, and so that is to include all of the sweeps, the precision weeding, and the mechanical weeding. So all 3 of those techniques are included in that $38.50 per acre. We do, especially since we're getting a lot of rain this season, we would probably need to come back once or twice, and that still keeps our budget well below kind of the average hand weeding budget for our Southern Colorado region. As we continue to add services, that price changes, but not a whole lot. And again, our goal is to work with the small growers in the best way possible so that we can continue helping them grow our food for us. This is a little bit of the data that we have in the drone analysis. So that's kind of one of our very unique aspects, is that in using the drone as a navigation support for the robots, we also have a whole map of the field, because a farm is more than just weed control, needs more than just weed control. So sometimes we have irrigation problems. We have a number of different weeds popping up in this area. And so in having this in all 3 regions of this farm, we can have the robots go take care of the weeds over on the field on the right, and then we can have the farm labor go and take care of the irrigation problems that are on the both of the left-hand sides. This is kind of another one. We do the full spectrum of analysis with our drones, which is at no additional cost. It's just a supplement for our system. And so this is kind of the imagery that comes out of the system at the end of the day. We are really interested in being able to provide multiple different solutions, because in our opinion, it's, growing is so vital to our community and everything else, that it's like, if you have a heart attack, you can't treat just a heart attack with medicine. You have to change your diet and reduce your stress and do a number of other things to make a full, healthy body. And we believe it's the same thing for the farm. And so starting with weed control as our main focus for this season, we will continue to develop and implement different systems and services to make sure that the grower is reducing stress and reducing burden. And, for us, success looks like if our growers can take a summer vacation with their families, and they just have to call Barn Owl to check in and see how things are going, then we know we're doing something right. I think I'll be happy to answer questions at the end, but that's Barn Owl. We're in Rocky Ford, and we will be around during the June 16th demo, so come check out all the new equipment and the new systems. Thank you.
Excellent, Sarah. Thank you so much. At this point, I want to pass over to Gaetan for his presentation.
Hello everyone. Just the time I share my screen, and thank you again for the invitation, Adrian. I'm very happy to be here. So to start, I will just introduce briefly Naio, so you better understand who we are and where we are from. And after, it will be mainly about showing our product, so you can have a better idea about what our robots can do and what value it can bring to the farmer, to the growers. And after that, as Adrian explained, I will be very happy to explain, to answer your question and to deep dive in the detail if you have, if you want to know more about some subject. So and I will also be able to share. I will share the YouTube link of the video. So you can have a smooth replay if you want after the presentation. So Naio Technologies, I'm one of the 2 co-founders, and we started the company a bit more than 10 years ago now, starting with the discussion with farmers that were facing the labor shortage issue already 10 years ago, and it's just even worse now, and especially because of the social, political, and global pressure about the labor shortage, but as well we are facing pressure from the environment point of view. We have some regulation pressure. So let's say agriculture is under pressure, and if you want to support more efficient, more profitable, and more sustainable practices in agriculture, you need to automatize some tasks. That's mandatory. So it was after this kind of discussion that we decided to start Naio with the strong belief that automation and robots can support farmers and can unlock the potential of farming. That was just to explain how it started. And now we are 80 people, mainly in Europe and North America. We are starting to open other countries. I will explain that in New Zealand, in South Africa as well. But let's say the vast majority of our robots right now are in Europe and North America, Canada, and in the US. And you will see the different kind of robot we have. Just to give you an information, we have sold so far 350 units, almost 400 now, all in all, with all of our different together. So we start to have a strong experience on that. Enough talking. Let's start with the video now, the interesting point. So I will start with the small Oz robots. So it's small in size but very powerful. This small robot is dedicated to a small scale vegetable farm, 10, 20 acre, this kind of farm. And the point is to be able to change the implement. So the robot is fully autonomous, guided by GPS, and you can change the implement. So at the beginning of the video, you saw a planting machine, seeding machine. And then you see different implements you change. Here it's a carrot field. So depending on the kind of soil you have, depending on the kind of crops you want to work and the maturity of the crop, you can adapt the implement, the setting, the setup to guarantee the best quality. You are seeing a U-turn. Again, our robots are fully autonomous and they can handle the crop cycle from the beginning to the end. Again, I will share this video after if you want to see more of it. So that was our first robot and it's our best seller right now. Then looking at its small robots, some larger farmers, larger growers start to ask to have their own bigger machine. So we started with Dino a couple of years ago and with more larger tools, more accurate tools dedicated to large-scale vegetable farming. So here you see operation, cultivation as well, doing robots during cultivation. Those videos were took in California, for example. That explains the size and the scale of the field. Again, here you see not just one but several robots, but all of those robots are fully autonomous, guided by GPS. The tools itself can be guided by camera to have the last sub-inches accuracy, but still you can have 1 inches or even less than 1 inches accuracy just with the GPS. You see on our video, you see a lot of cultivating, mechanical weeding control, because this is where farmers have the best return on investment. So this is where we start to sell our robots most of the time. But of course, our robots are tools holders and you can change the implements depending on what you want to do, of course. And here you see some autonomous U-turn with the bigger machine. So it's always nice to look at it, but I think you get the point. Another video, it's a new robot we have, which is a bit like Oreo. It goes above one bed. It's just stronger and faster to have a more a faster work rate to do more acre per day. With this one, on standard situation, you can reach 10 acre a day, for example, which start to be something in specialty crop. But again, it's a tools holder, and you can change the implement depending on what you want to do with the machine. Then I switch from vegetable row crop to vineyard when we have 2 other machines. So we have one small machine for vineyard. It's called Joe. It have tracks, it have caterpillars, so it can have a good grip, good traction, and a very low soil compaction, which is very important in agriculture, of course. So as you see, it's a quite small or medium-sized robot. It's easy to move it in a truck. You can load it in a truck and move it from one field to another one. So it's very adapted to narrow vineyard and berries as well, when you have a different plot in a different area. But still, it's fully electric and very powerful. So you can drive some strong implements to do, again, cultivating. And we are working with partners to implement other kinds of implements like mowing, spraying, and sowing, seeding as well. If you want to seed cover crop, if you want to mow cover crop, that's very interesting as well. As all of our robots fully GPS driven. And I didn't mention it, but all of our robots share the same autopilot, the same navigation system. So each time one of our robots learn to do new things, learn to deal with a new situation in open field, all of our fleet of robots learn that. And it helps because we have a large fleet of robots deployed, so a lot of experience that is bring together inside your robot. It's still a very stupid machine. I'm not speaking about bright artificial intelligence, but it's a stupid but very useful machine and very reliable machine, and that's what we ask. So you get it. I will share the video again in the chat after, and you have all those videos on our website, of course. That's it. And then last but not least, TED, which is a straddle. It's our bigger, larger machine dedicated to standard vineyard. And with this one, you can go above one vine to be more accurate, more efficient, doing, again, most of our clients do mainly mechanical weeding control cultivating because this is where you have the main return on investment. But same thing, you can easily change the implements to have multiple tasks. That's just to enjoy the nice view of some French vineyard. I let you enjoy it 1 or 2 seconds more, and then I will continue on the presentation. But again, just to say, it's a versatile robot, very accurate and bigger, smaller, and so faster than the small Joe robot for vineyard. And by the way, we have just one, maybe hopefully soon 2, but at least 1 customer using this kind of robot in 3 nurseries with a great result as well. I was speaking about our worldwide reach. We started in Europe. Of course, this is where we started the company, but quite fast we moved to Canada and California with a very good result as well. And now this year we are opening new states in USA. It's working quite well. We are happy with the beginning of the season, but if by any chance you know some dealer, or if you want to be one of our first customers and be one of the leader in your state where we are not yet, feel free to reach us. We are always happy to do that. And we also just opened South Africa, and we have some discussion for other country, as you can say. So the robot are mature. There is a strong traction. So now we are investing in having multiple features on our robots, and we are investing in deploying our robot worldwide. And just to finish, few slides to zoom in, but our robots allow cost reduction, more profitability, more efficiency. You can have different kind of tools, and they are totally compliant to the regulation. We can deep dive on that about autonomy and everything depending on the state, the area. It's different, but we can always find solution. And just to show you what we can do. So this video was done one with the planting on Oreo and planting seeding, and one after with the cultivating, just to show the accuracy we are able to reach. That's one. Another one is just about cultivating, but we can do it on 10 lines as well. For example, baby leaves or spinach or high density crops. It's always as well quite interesting and profitable, of course, for the growers. We can do cultivating on standard 6 line, romaine, lettuce, cabbage, celery, name it. You get the point. And we can do, maybe you see it in other video, but we can do as well in-row weeding to be able to weed not only between the row, but in the row as well. Again, I will share the picture on that. Okay, you get it. To conclude, I will skip the fleet management. It's not, I think, what you are interested in, but just to let you know that you can do remote control, you can know what the robot is working on, and you can have a mapping and etc. It's a side needs for the robot. It's fun, but what you want to see is the result on the field, of course. So I skip that, and just to conclude, if you are interested by robots, not just about Naio, but if you are interested by robots, you can come to the FIRA event. It's all about robotic agriculture. Next edition will be in Salinas, in California, in September. You have a website you can go to check. Last edition was a great success, and it's helping a lot to make it concrete. You have field demonstration, you have a technical conference, so you can really understand what the robot can do, what they can bring to you, and you can ask questions to experts and manufacturers from all around the world. So if you like this sector, I really recommend you to go there. And that's all for my presentation. I hope it was not too long, and happy to answer your question now.
Thank you, Gaetan. Appreciate it. And I can affirm I went to FIRA USA last October 2022, and it was incredible to hear from the leaders. And what I heard, and it really stuck with me, is that someone from stage said we are more or less in the Windows 95 era of ag robotics, to make a Microsoft analogy there, that we're just seeing the beginning of it. So it's very exciting to think about where this can evolve to in the next 10 years. We've got one question here in the Q&A. Let me pull this up. Tim asks, has Oz been demoed in Colorado? Can we see it?
Have it been before? No. Can we organize that? Most probably. It's a question of timing. So of course we want to organize some demonstration. It's always a question of timing because we are a limited team, and this is exactly why we are looking for local dealers and partners, because we cannot be everywhere. So if you are a dealer, we can organize something. If you are independent farmers, grower, let's discuss it. Please contact us and we can organize this, but probably we will try to do this with several people, and please allow us some time to be able to do it. But so the question is when, not if.
Great. And we've mentioned several times this Friday, June the 16th, automated weeder demo in Rocky Ford, Colorado. Sarah is going to demonstrate her machine there. Gaetan doesn't have equipment that he can bring at that point, but he or someone from his staff are going to be there. So more to come there. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. I'm wondering, Sarah, you had shown us that your machine is accompanied by a drone. There is a data set that's generated images. How can a grower use those images to make decisions on farm? Like what are you capturing?
Yeah, I would say that the biggest value in that drone imagery is going to be potential irrigation, additional areas of concern in, misplants. So we can do full plant counts for your entire any crop, because we can fly at 50 foot or 400 foot. So irrigation, plant counts, and those decisions can lead to, water savings. It can lead to time savings in your emergence. Or you can decide to do a full replant because you're not happy with your stand. And so just having that information earlier will create an opportunity for you to have more control, I guess, of the decision making rather than feeling like you're too far behind, which I often feel like. So there's a number of other things, you know, the robots themselves, they detect insects and disease, but with that support, we can see the scale. So the drone imagery can give us the scale of that insect and disease pressure as well. And so if the only solution for that insect and disease pressure is to go out and spray everything, then you kind of have a better idea on how much you're going to need. So you don't have to overbuy or underbuy. And, you know, as we have seen and are continuing to see, the more information, the better. That way there's just the better ability to make decisions.
You bet. I'm talking with some of our folks within CSU, and that seems to be, if it's NDVI data, if it's thermal imaging, sometimes interpreting that is you know, some consultants will show it, be like, here's an image file of the data, and the grower's like, what do I do with this? How do I make a decision based on this? Do you offer those services too?
Yes, the only thing we don't do is prescribe, just because we're not, you know, we don't have applicator's license on our team right now. But usually the grower can and has somebody on their team that can make those prescriptions. And so in the first image you saw where we were outlining the areas of concern that we saw, the weed pressure on the one side, the misplant on the other side, and then the irrigation concern. So we'll present that to you. And then you as the grower says, you take care of the weed pressure, I'll take care of the irrigation, and then the robots can go spray for everything else. And hopefully we're just able to work as best as a team as we possibly can to use the ground robots, the aerial imagery, and then of course the mass amounts of experience that all these growers have.
You bet. Gaetan, do you have similar capabilities of data collection and sharing with growers?
Yes, maybe the different, or I don't know if it's different, but let's say our strategy is to collaborate with some sensors manufacturer, because it's really a specialty in itself, and it's the same strategy that we have for the tools and the implement. So we do the robots with the autopilot, and we do partnership with a sensors provider. The main value we see is in line with what Sarah says about crop monitoring and having more information about crop health, but also just counting the plant, knowing what you have in the field. That's definitely very interesting. The situation still, based on our experience, is that it's hard to make the growers pay for that. It's very interesting, but the value behind it is just at the beginning, and I'm very confident that we are unlocking more and more value on this topic, and it have a huge value to be unlocked. But still, we are at the beginning of this potential.
Yeah. And since it is such an emerging technology, JB asks, I think a lot of growers ask this, like for both of you, you know, how easy is it for a grower to operate this robot? Do they need a technician to come on site? You know, what's the learning curve? And I think I'd attach to that question, what's the reliability, and should it break, what do they do? How do they get it repaired? So Sarah, you want to go first on that one?
Yeah, my answer is pretty simple. Ours is full service. So the main thing that we need is a pre-planned, you know, farm plan. So this is our row spacing for each crop. And then these are the goals that Barn Owl and the grower will decide together, and then timing. But otherwise the robot and the burden of it is, and it sometimes is a burden, is fully on us. And so if it does break, we operate, you know, our minimum fleet size can be 6. Our maximum fleet size can be 24. So if one breaks, then we have 23 others to go in and supplement the work. And they each operate at, they can do about 0.7 acres per hour in that speed that you saw for the planting. So we are still able to supplement. If we lose one, then we're not missing a whole bunch of acreage. And if we do want to leave one on the farm for the grower, then we can do all the pre-programming online or offsite, get it onto the robot, and then they can just press the button, and it's one green button and it goes. But that's not our case right now.
With that farming as a service, and I'll click over to Gaetan in a minute to answer the question corresponding, but that farming as a service, robots as a service model, I know in California, FarmWise ran into this of like being able to service enough geographic area, having enough staff to travel. What's your service area right now for your robots?
Yeah, so right now we're all over Colorado. Last week we were in Rocky Ford. Today we're in the San Luis Valley. Next week we'll be up north in the Brighton area. And the way that we do that is our system is so simple. It's simple enough to have 2 operators per 24 robots. And in that matchup, we are able to have a hub in each region of Colorado. And it just depends on the number of robots. They are also very lightweight, so we can transport, a few at a time. And we've even talked about flying them to places. So we can put a couple on an airplane, fly them up to Brighton, and then fly them back down if we need to. But definitely for us, the people on our team are a bigger asset. And so that service aspect, it goes with the people and the robots working together as a good team.
That's great. Gaetan, over to you. Growers operating their own robots, how easy is it to learn? What do they do if it breaks?
Yeah, so in California, we provide as well as a service, mainly in the Salinas Valley, but we also sell the robot, and the vast majority of the robot we have running are used by the farmers themselves. So to answer you, most of the time we have a free half-a-day training program. So we use split, so it's 1 day and a half, and it's split on 3 times. So half a day, and half a day. And you have some online training before that. It's just a couple of hours, quite easy. So it's super easy to understand and to use the robot. I can explain to you how to start a mission in a couple of minutes. That's not the point. The point after that, it's more about getting all the value you can have from the robot, including setting up the tools, monitoring the mission, working and playing with the different parameters to optimize. That's quite interesting. So it's not complex, but it's still a professional tools, and you can get a lot of value if you put some effort on it. That's my point. And then to answer about the issue it can have and the failure. So of course it's still a machine. You can have failure. You will have failure. Our job is that you have as few failure as possible, but still you need to do some maintenance, and you can have some repair to fix some issues. So that's again why we always work with a local dealer network to guarantee that you can have spare parts and that you can have quick fix, because most of the time you need to go back to the work as soon as possible. And speaking of that's just because it's a machine, nothing to do with the fact that it's a robot or not. It's just a machine. It can break. You have to repair fast. Just it's easier and faster because it's electric. That's the only way. But again, just because it's an electric machine. And one comment about the robot part, the autonomous part. When you speak about a machine, most of the time you in the industry, you are used to speak about mean time between failure, which is what you try to optimize, having a robust machine. And speaking about the robot, we are speaking internally about mean time between intervention, because if you have no failure but just a software bug and the robot stop, or if you have no failure, no bug, but just the robot put in a safety mode because he wasn't able to drive alone anymore, something happened, so it stopped again, then you lose all the value of the autonomy if you have to go back in the field. So what we want to avoid is that the human have to go back in the field just to push one button. That's super annoying, and it's as well something you have to take care of when you speak about autonomous machine.
Great. Tim has another great question here. I've seen him in his farm in northern Colorado try to solve this with steam and different things, but you've seen growers on plastic mulch. The final frontier is, how do you cultivate that edge of the plastic where it interfaces with the soil without cutting the plastic? Do you guys have any success with that? Have you played around with it?
Since there's a lot of melons on plastic in the La Junta area, we have done a little bit of playing, but we haven't operated on plastic mulch. And maybe here Cotter Hannigan will let us kind of work with that a little bit, but no solutions from us quite yet.
Yeah, definitely a tricky one. Gaetan?
Yeah, it's more about the tools than about the robots, more about the implements. It's really related to your kind of soil. On sandy soil, you have some tools existing with brush. It can work. We have tried it. It can bring good results, but still it's not perfect. But if you have a heavy soil, clay soil, yeah, not much magic wand you can have. On the long run, robot, I think, will replace plastic cover and you will be able to get rid of it. That's the long-term purpose. On the short term, it's still, we can improve your situation, but it's not magic. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. In some of these colder climates like Colorado, we want to use it to warm the soil to give us a
Yeah,
longer growing season. So
yeah, exactly.
it's a necessary evil, all the plastic that's around. I've seen
Good point.
some growers try, sprays with spray nozzles with cones on the edges, maybe even organic spray products. Have you guys tried spray applications with these machines, Sarah?
Yes, yeah, we have, like I mentioned, the only thing that we won't do is prescribe. So you just, as the grower, have to tell me what to put in it. We have precision spraying. So the same concept, we can use the drone imagery and the robot sensors to target the weeds, go out and spray it. And then we've also, like I mentioned, we're exploring spraying water too, just because of Colorado water struggles and everything else that we're doing. So it just kind of depends on what the grower needs.
Gaetan?
Yeah, spot spraying is definitely an option. And you are even some company working on the robotic arm picking the weeds. That will be also an option. You have laser weeding, which is becoming more and more mature. So I'm really confident that we will find solution. But waiting for that, spot spraying is interesting. And the good point with spot spraying is that you can use, and spot spraying with robots, you can use chemicals, or you can use organic spraying, like acid, vinegar, and just saving those chemical or those organic products just for where you need it. So you can reduce the amount of inputs you use for the weeding.
Are both of your machines, are they reliant on a GPS ley line? If a grower planted without using GPS, could those machines come in there and track on the row for cultivation?
Yes, ours don't rely on any GPS lines from the grower's equipment. Just the only thing we need to know is row spacing before we get in there. Otherwise, the drone imagery and the sensors on the robot are able to navigate fully without the lines from the current tractors. We are exploring if that is giving us enough marginal improvement to make a difference. I don't think it is at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, on our side, you definitely can work on fields that were not seeded or planted by the robot, or that were seeded, planted by a tractor without GPS, but you still need some mapping operation before that. The robot still needs some GPS point to be able to navigate in a reliable manner.
Both are a fully electric, battery powered. How long does it take to charge the batteries? Can you hot swap them for continuous use?
Yes, for us. So our battery is a 50-pound unit, and each unit operates about 8 full hours. As a service, we go with 2, and so we are getting about 16 hours of operation time for each unit. As battery technology continues to improve, we're looking forward to that shrinking in size and increasing in longevity.
Yeah, in our side, yeah, same thing. We target a sweet spot of 8 to 10 hours of work with the standard battery pack, and then you can swap the battery and you can charge them depending on your charger. You can charge them in 2 hours or even 20 minutes if you have a super fast charger, or you can charge it overnight on the standard plug. It's like for the car, you can adapt depending on the charger. Yeah.
220 volt charge or 110 volt?
No, 220, it's bizarre. Yeah, on 100, it's much too long. It's too long. Yeah.
Too slow. Yeah. Like electric cars these days. This will be
exactly.
our last question, and then we'll conclude. JB has one for looking to the future. How much do your companies involve research projects with universities?
For us, it's been a really, we have worked with CSU Rocky Ford in the past, and I am currently at CSU San Luis Valley. I'm doing some research stuff here. And we continue to hope that we can continue that relationship, just because we, as Barn Owl, we don't know everything, but there's a lot of people around us who do know a lot. And so that's the main thing that we can do, is rely on the experts and get great advisors and continue to utilize the team around us.
Great.
Yeah, we also do project with a university time to time. It's always depending on the project. We had done some in the past. We hope to do new one. We love to sell robot to university as well. If you want to purchase a robot, that's totally possible. But yeah, we also have some research project with university time to time.
Fantastic. Well, thank you both so much for being here today. And Gaetan, thank you. I know it is 8 hours ahead. It's 9 p.m. in France right now.
It is.
So we're interrupting you getting ready for sleep. So thank you so much for making time for us. Looking forward to seeing you in Rocky Ford and hope that this is the beginning of many conversations about these applications for farms in Colorado. So thanks, everyone. Enjoy your day.
Have a
Thanks,
good day.
Adrian.
Bye.